Hey guys, what's going on? So for this video today, we're going to go over, 10 tips that I want to give out to newer players or free-to-play players, or, even if you've been playing for a while, just you might learn something that you don't know. And some of it might seem basic stuff. Some of it might seem like things that you've never thought about, or you've thought about all of it, and this is just a dumb video to watch. But anyways, let's get started. I got 10 tips. I'm not going to rank them top 10 because, tips are tips, but anyways, we're going to start out with the raid store. And my recommendation for the raid store when it comes to character farming is you should absolutely only go for raid orbs unless you have like one character left. Namor is my last character that I got to rank up. Everyone else I have at 7 stars or they're at 6 stars and I just need the gold for them. So raid orbs is the way to go because the price difference between 900 raid credits versus 1400 for Rocket Raccoon. You get 9 shards for 900 credits, which is 100 credits, versus 5 shards for 1400 credits, which is, way higher. Even for minions, it's crazy. So that's my first recommendation. That's my first tip for you guys, is just go for raid orbs unless you're down to like your last character. At some point with 2 or 3 characters left, it does become more like the chances and whatever, it's better to actually purchase from here. But if you're beginning or you're new or free to play and you don't quite have it finished yet, go for raid orbs. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, like, Mysterio is needed for Invisible Woman, so if you're 5 away, you might as well just go for him, but raid orbs is the way to go. Alright, so my next tip for you guys is we just had the Sunday blitzes of, the red star orbs and all that stuff. So my advice for new players and free-to-play players is something that I didn't do that I absolutely should have done, is finish all these milestones. You have 3 days to finish these milestones for characters. All the gold in here is useful. All the character shards in here is useful. It's the way to go. You absolutely should try and finish it. It can be annoying if you have lower power levels and stuff, but you should definitely try and get to milestone 14, or at least get 64,000 points so you can at least get some rank rewards from it too. And to couple in with this with the Blitz store, kind of similar with the raid orbs, but the prices are a little bit better, and the difference between what's in the Blitz orb and the supplies that you can buy. If you're new, I would say go for Blitz orb, but if you're about halfway through, you can probably start going for individual characters when it comes to the Blitz store. Next up, the thing that I want to go over is what to do with power cores. If you're new to the game, like when I first started, I saved up power cores and I bought premium orbs. It was dumb of me. The only really thing that you should be buying with power cores is you should buy energy. And what I would recommend is, I have 20 refills remaining. I would recommend going through your first 4 refills because that only costs 50 energy. And if you are at 50 of these energy credits or whatever, you don't have to use power cores to get there. So if I had 100 of this, I could use 100. It's basically equal to power cores. So I would recommend going through the first 4 just because it's very advantageous. You get all your raid tickets for your, your alliance and stuff. You should kind of be at a net profit, no matter, unless you're ranking like bottom in arena, but you should be a net positive for power cores if you at least go through the first 4. It'll only cost you 150 every 2 days and then 200 on the 3rd day, just because you don't get 50 of these per day, you get like 40 of them. So it is a little off, but you do want to be going through at least the first 3, definitely the first 4 of using the power cores. And another thing that you can purchase with the power cores, they don't have any right now, but occasionally all the way at the bottom they will have 10 for 10. They will have 10 character shards for 10 power cores. That is a great deal to do, especially if it's a character you don't have farmed. If it's Wolverine in there, just pass on it. But yeah, they don't have anything down here. But normally they do, or not normally, but sometimes they do. Like, they'll have Falcon, they'll have Minerva. Basically, if you don't have them at 7 stars, or they're viable, or about to be at 7 stars, you should probably go ahead and purchase it. But that's what I would just say power cores for. As me, who ranks in the arena, I occasionally will sometimes come in here when there's a new character out and a blitz, and we'll buy the blitz character. Let's see, this current one is air support, so if this was a new character, I might come in here and buy it, especially if I have a surplus of orbs. I'm going to start trying to buy 2 of them when I can. If you're new to this video, I'm almost purely free to play. I've spent less than $10 on this game and I'm 780 days in. So the fact, I'm gonna start spending a little bit more money on this. Not crazy amounts, not buying new characters, but hopefully enough to help me, you know, burn through more energy and maybe purchase a couple of orbs just to help out with new character releases and stuff. But again, that's only if you're later on in the game. That's only if you're ranking really high in the arena. I'm in the top 100, and I'm pretty sure I've been going pretty hard on trying to unlock Karnak. So that's why I don't have too much right now, but even now I could purchase 2 of these if I really wanted to. I'm not going to just because I have this character maxed out, but anyways. That also ties in with the Blitz. Even though I have this character maxed out, the gold is really important to get from that. So I would recommend, you know, trying to get those milestone and blitzes, and make sure you save your power cores for purely energy or those 10 for 10s. And this is only if you have a surplus of them, or if Fox next messes up and you get 1,000, you just feel like blowing it. So next up, what I want to go over is that a lot of people prioritize arena. I would prioritize getting through the campaigns first, and I'll talk about real quickly about what you can do. So we have heroes, villains, Nexus, Cosmic, and Mystic. When I describe who I use to get through this, I gotta be really specific about stuff. So heroes, there's 7 chapters technically, but the 7th chapter for heroes, villains, and Nexus is much more difficult than the first 6. So for heroes 1 through 6, chapters 1 through 6, I would recommend Defenders. For villains 1 through 6, I would recommend Sinister Six. For the Nexus 1 through 6, I would recommend Defenders, or I would recommend Guardians of the Galaxy or BKT. BKT is Minerva, Thanos, Groot, Rocket, Star-Lord. For Cosmic, I would recommend BKT or Guardians. And when I say Guardians, it's Mantis, Drax, Groot, Star-Lord, and Rocket. Skip out on Gamora, poor Gamora, but she's just not that useful in that team. And then for Mystic, I would recommend Supernatural or Asgardians. The problem with recommending Asgardians, though, is that Sif is a skill character, not a Mystic character, and she's one of the Asgardians, so you'll probably need to sub in someone like Doctor Strange. So that's who I would recommend to get through those chapters. Now, for Chapter 7 of the Heroes Assemble, I know you can use City. I know the first 3 missions are City, the next 3 missions are Global, and the final 3 missions, I believe, are Cosmic. So what I would recommend for that is the City. You should either be using Spider-Verse, which would be Symbiote Spider-Man, Miles, and Spider-Man, and then 2 other City characters, or Defenders. I use Defenders. For the next 2 nodes, it was Global. I used an X-Men team mixed with a Nick Fury Shield team. And then for the final node of Cosmic, I used Captain Marvel, Invisible Woman, Star-Lord, Rocket, and Groot. And that helped me get through it. For villains, I don't think there's a specific character that you need to use for the last three missions. Yeah, it's only villain characters. So you can use whoever for the last 3. But the first 3 can either be Hydra, AIM, or Sinister Six. I would recommend AIM just because they're so much better. For the next 3, it's Mystic Villains. I still haven't completed this node. I don't really need to farm stuff from there. But I would recommend for Mystic Villains, your top Mystic Villains are going to be Hela and Loki, and with Ebony Maw coming out will be Ebony Maw, but I don't think you should probably beat this before you have Ebony Maw unlocked. So that does it for villains. And then the Nexus campaign, there's really not too much to recommend. It was probably one of the easiest campaigns, but I know there's no restrictions on the first 3, I believe. The next 3, I believe, is Asgardians, Guardians, and Kree. And, you know, there's a bunch of good characters in that faction. And the final 3 were X-Men, Brotherhood, and S.H.I.E.L.D. And there was a bunch of good characters in that. This wasn't too much of an issue, but again, you got to prioritize your campaign so you can farm for people, so you can farm Loki, so you can get Phoenix, so you can farm Hela, so you can get Black Bolt, so you can farm Karnak, so you can get Ebony Maw. You got to get through it. Then you can focus on arena. And finishing campaigns will help you get characters that you can use in arena and help you get to the top sooner. So, with campaigns over, I'm going to talk about red stars. So if you've been playing for some while and you have about 80 to 85% of your roster having red stars, I would recommend saving your red stars, and you need to save them for when characters have an extra drop rate. Like right now, Taskmaster is at a 15% drop rate. I saved my red stars. I opened about 38 of them, I believe, and it got me a 5 red star Taskmaster. Now that I did get him from the regular orbs, but typically, if you have 20 red star orbs, you should get an Elite Four, and that'll give you a higher chance of getting them at 4 red stars. But I like to save them just because I do want to have 3 to 5 red stars on new characters that come out. I would recommend that. And if you're at 85% of your roster, gone through, you should get the rest filled out just even if you save them anyways. So that's my take on red stars. I know people open them right away. Also, another recommendation is don't ever buy red stars. It's not really worth it. But I do try hard for the red star orb blitz at the end of each week on Sundays and stuff. Another thing that I want to go over is new character releases. Taskmaster's coming out. The math on character releases is that new characters come out every 11 to 12 days. And that's important to know because, as you can see, my symbiote Spider-Man is at level 1. To get him to level 75, the highest level he can be, takes 5,600,000 gold. So if I try to, let's say I want to get him done before the next character comes out, it's going to cost me about a little under 560,000 gold per day. That's important. That is important to know because it should help you maintain where you're at in this game. And if you are able to complete characters before a new one comes out, I do have a back catalog of characters I got to get through and stuff just because I didn't prioritize correctly at the beginning. But I am where I'm at now, and I'm starting to really get after all that back catalog and catch up and stuff. And it's important to know that 5,600,000 or that 5,600,000 because you really should be spending about 560,000 just for ranking them up, which is a lot to ask, especially in a game like this. Gold is very hard to come by, and that's not really fair to say, but it's tricky to get through. And so what I would recommend is when you have a surplus of gold, you stop at this milestone 10. This will give you 50 power cores, and there's no more power cores after this spot. Obviously, if you go over it, it's not going to kill you. If you get this T4, that's pretty good. But I would recommend just your surplus, just stop right here. That way you get at least 50 power cores per day from this. You also get 50 power cores per day from doing the daily objectives and all that stuff. Power cores are the way to go in this game. It helps you get through and stuff. If you need gold, don't really ever buy this gold orb. It costs 450. It's better just to use 400 energy and try and get gold that way. Granted, you could get 1,000,000 gold, but that's not very likely. I would recommend using the power cores for energy. Don't go for this gold orb. So the best way to get to milestone 10 is to prioritize where you're getting gold from. And a way to do that is by making sure that you have completed the highest of this gold rush challenge. It does get harder as it goes on, and you're going to need a Spider-Verse team to get through it because it does require city characters. I have not done them yet, but I'm working on it right now. That's my priority, is getting there because I really do need the gold and stuff. And then you can also work on getting this payday event done. I would always recommend going for legendary characters first, but this should be your first. This event happens every month. This should be the first one that you prioritize getting through all the way. The final rewards is about 2.4 million gold, or it is 2.4 million gold, and that goes a long way. That's two of these milestones done through. Again, I can't recommend how much. You should just stop right here. If you do want to go further and stuff, that's good, but I would honestly stop after you get the rewards. I think waiting an extra day and getting more rewards is worth it. So with that said, you should be spending 560,000 gold and stuff. And I know if you're starting off, you're not going to get there. I barely get there, and I'm in an alliance that we finish 60% in the Greek raids, which basically is a gold orb each day. So knowing where you're getting your gold from will help you get through those milestones, obviously. And I have a hard time getting through those milestones, and I have a hard time spending that 560,000 per day or 550,000 per day, whatever the 5.6 million divided by 11 is. I don't know that number off the top of my head, but I do know I should be hitting around that number when it comes to leveling them up from 1 to whatever per day. So with that being said, you should have a plan going forward and know what you're going to do. Know that you're going to get through the campaigns. Know which legendary character you should be going for. Knowing which ones are more advantageous. Shuri her event just came around today. She's really good in U7. I actually don't use her in U7. I use Minerva and Scientist Supreme as my healers mainly. So I would honestly recommend, for example, skipping Shuri and making sure you focus on someone else, like a Black Bolt or a Phoenix or something right now, to really help you in Arena, because she's not as advantageous in Arena. But know where you're going with that. If you really just don't care about Arena, that's fine too. Obviously, the more power cores you have in this game, the more you're going to be able to do, the more you're going to be able to buy and stuff. So if you want to spend in this game, if you don't, whatever, it's your choice. I just hope that these tips and stuff were helpful. Make sure you're doing what you want in this game. It's cliche, but you should be doing what you want to have fun. If you just love the Spider-Verse and stuff and want to get your Spider-Verse team built up, that's fine. I think you should go for it. If you love Ravengers, even though they're not the best in this game, and you love it, go for it. You should do what makes you happy. You can build a really good symbiote spider team right here. If you are super excited about the Asgardians of the Galaxy and want to build a Groot, Star-Lord, Drax, Rocket, Thor team just because you love Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth, I would recommend doing that. Just do what you want to have fun. This game shouldn't stress you out. Arena kind of can be stressful sometimes if you're trying to push up sometimes, but you really shouldn't stress it too much. Just have fun with it. You're probably playing this game because you love the movies, because you love the comics and stuff, and that should transfer over into this game. People complain about the people who run this game, Fox and X, and I don't really have too many complaints. They mess up sometimes, but I do think they care about the community and stuff, and they want you to have fun, and I think that should be your priority too. So take my tips with a grain of salt, but if you follow this stuff, it should hopefully help you get a little bit farther than those that don't follow these tips. Let me know if you have any tips in the comments down below. Let me know if you found any of this helpful. Let me know if you found all of this dumb. Let me know if you were somewhere in between. I do giveaways on this channel. I do red star openings. I do orb openings. I do weekly news. I do all sorts of stuff. So make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button, share this, all that good stuff. And other than that, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.